Anger is a powerful and pervasive human emotion, one that has been the subject of countless discussions, debates, and reflections throughout history. While many philosophies and psychological theories attempt to explain and manage anger, the Stoic school of thought offers a unique perspective. It views anger as a manifestation of weakness. In the Stoic worldview, anger is seen as an impediment to the pursuit of virtue and the achievement of eudaimonia, or a flourishing life. This video aims to explore and elucidate the Stoic perspective on anger, demonstrating why it is considered a weakness within this philosophical framework. By examining the Stoic definition of anger, its origins, its consequences, and the Stoic techniques for managing and transcending anger, we will demonstrate that anger is fundamentally a manifestation of weakness in the human psyche. Before we begin, kindly take a moment to subscribe to our channel. I know I sound like a broken record, but it really helps the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are alerted every time we post a new video. We are on a journey of self-improvement, and we would love it if you joined us. We don't discriminate, but we welcome everyone, regardless of their race, gender, background, religion, beliefs, or sexual orientation. We believe in diversity and inclusivity, and that knowledge and wisdom are universal. We also believe that everyone has the right and freedom to become the person they have always wanted to be. If you have felt like a misfit loner or someone who doesn't fit well, don't worry about that, as we always welcome everyone here. We are a family. We are your family, and you are welcome. Let's get started. The Stoic definition of anger. Before we see how anger can be a weakness, let's look at how Stoicism views anger. The Stoics, including prominent figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, had a distinct understanding of anger. According to their philosophy, anger is not merely a fleeting emotional response, but a complex passion deeply rooted in erroneous beliefs and judgments. The Stoic definition of anger can be broken down into three key components. The Stoics believed that anger originates from cognitive judgments about external events. These judgments involve the perception of something as a significant wrong or insult. Thus, anger is not caused by the external event itself, but by our interpretation of it as an affront to our values or well-being. The second element of anger, according to Stoicism, is assent. Assent refers to the moment when we give our internal approval or consent to our judgments about the external event. In the Stoic view, we can choose whether to give assent to these judgments or not, making anger a matter of personal agency. The final aspect of anger is the emotional disturbance it generates. This disturbance encompasses a range of emotional responses, from mild irritation to violent rage. The Stoics viewed these emotional disturbances as harmful to our overall well-being and rationality. Let's now look at how anger is a weakness in Stoicism. Lesson 1. The weakness of anger in Stoicism. Now that we understand the Stoic definition of anger, let's delve into why Stoicism considers anger a weakness. The Stoics argue that anger is a manifestation of weakness in several ways. Lack of rational control. According to Stoicism, the hallmark of a strong and virtuous individual is rational control over their emotions and actions. Anger, by its very nature, disrupts this control. It is often impulsive and irrational, leading individuals to act in ways they later regret. This lack of control over one's own emotional responses is seen as a sign of weakness in Stoic philosophy. Egocentric nature. Anger tends to be egocentric, focusing on the individual's desires, needs, and perceived slights. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies in transcending ego and aligning with the rational order of the universe. Anger's self-centeredness is thus viewed as a weakness because it prevents individuals from attaining the wisdom that comes from embracing a broader perspective. Disruption of virtue. Stoicism holds that the ultimate goal of life is to cultivate virtue and wisdom. Anger is seen as an obstacle to the cultivation of these virtues. It often leads to unvirtuous behavior, such as cruelty or revenge, and hinders one's ability to act with wisdom, courage, and justice. Physical and emotional harm. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of maintaining equanimity and inner peace. Anger, with its associated emotional and physiological responses, causes harm to the individual. It can lead to stress, health problems, and strained relationships, all of which are viewed as physical and emotional weaknesses in the Stoic framework. Lesson 2. The origins of anger, a Stoic perspective. To further explore the Stoic perspective on anger as weakness, we must examine the origins of anger as elucidated by Stoic philosophy. According to the Stoics, anger does not arise from external events, but from our internal judgments and interpretations of these events. This insight has significant implications for how we understand and manage anger. Some of them include the role of beliefs and judgments. In the Stoic view, anger is born from our beliefs and judgments about the world. When we perceive an event as harmful or unjust, we form judgments that give rise to anger. These judgments can be irrational and distorted, and it is the responsibility of the individual to critically examine and challenge them. The power of cognitive choice. The Stoics believed in the power of cognitive choice, which is the ability to decide whether or not to give assent to our judgments. This means that, even when provoked, individuals have the agency to choose not to be angry. This capacity to exercise rational control over our emotional responses is a central tenet of Stoicism and a sign of inner strength. The influence of preconceived notions. The Stoics recognized that anger often stems from preconceived notions or expectations about how the world should be. When reality doesn't align with these expectations, individuals can become angry. Stoicism encourages individuals to adopt a more realistic and rational perspective, aligning their expectations with the nature of the world as it is. Lesson 3. Consequences of anger, a Stoic examination. The Stoics were deeply concerned with the consequences of human emotions, and anger was no exception. Stoic philosophy posits that anger leads to a range of negative outcomes, further reinforcing its classification as a weakness. Some of the negative outcomes include damage to relationships. Anger can be highly destructive to interpersonal relationships. It often leads to hurtful words and actions that damage trust and goodwill. Stoics argue that strong, healthy relationships are built on understanding, empathy, and kindness rather than destructive emotions like anger. Impulsive actions. When anger takes hold, individuals are prone to impulsive and irrational actions. These actions can lead to regret, harm, and injustice. Stoicism promotes reasoned, deliberate action rather than impulsive behavior driven by anger. Physical and emotional harm. Anger is not only harmful to others, but also to the person experiencing it. The physiological and emotional toll of anger can lead to stress, anxiety, and even physical health issues. Stoicism advocates for the cultivation of inner peace and emotional well-being. Hindrance to virtue. Anger clouds judgment and hinders the cultivation of virtue, which is central to Stoic ethics. Virtues like wisdom, courage, and justice become elusive when one is consumed by anger. The Stoic ideal is to overcome anger in pursuit of these virtues. Lesson 4. Stoic techniques for managing and transcending anger. Having established the Stoic perspective on anger as a weakness, it is crucial to explore how Stoicism offers practical techniques for managing and transcending anger. Stoic philosophers and practitioners developed a range of strategies to help individuals cope with and overcome anger, which includes cognitive reframing. Stoicism teaches individuals to reframe their judgments about external events. By critically examining their beliefs and assessing whether an event is truly harmful or unjust, individuals can defuse anger at its source. The contemplation of the whole. This Stoic exercise involves considering the broader context of a situation. It encourages individuals to take a step back and see the event from a wider perspective, which often reveals the insignificance of the perceived offense. Pause and reflection. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of taking a moment to pause and reflect before reacting to a provoking situation. This brief pause allows individuals to regain control over their judgments and emotional responses. Self-examination.
A central practice in Stoicism is self-examination or introspection.
By reflecting on one's own thoughts and reactions, individuals can gain greater awareness of their emotional triggers and work on modifying their judgments. Virtue as the ultimate goal. Stoicism teaches that virtue and wisdom are the ultimate goals of life. By focusing on these virtues, individuals can transcend anger, as anger is seen as incompatible with a virtuous life. Lesson 5. The Stoic Ideal. A life free from anger. The Stoic ideal is a life that is free from anger, in which individuals have mastered their emotions and judgments. Such a life is characterized by wisdom, courage, and inner peace. The Stoic perspective on anger as weakness aligns with their vision of the ideal life. By striving to overcome anger, individuals can move closer to the Stoic goal of eudaimonia. Here is how to achieve that wisdom and clarity. By overcoming anger, individuals gain greater wisdom and clarity in their judgments. They can better discern what is truly important and virtuous, leading to more rational and ethical decisions. Inner peace. The absence of anger results in inner peace. Stoicism emphasizes that true well-being comes from a calm and undisturbed mind. Without anger, individuals can maintain their equanimity in the face of adversity. Virtuous actions. Overcoming anger allows individuals to act in accordance with virtue. They can respond to challenging situations with courage, justice, and compassion, rather than reacting out of anger and ego. Resilience. Stoicism teaches that a life without anger makes individuals more resilient in the face of adversity. They can withstand external challenges with strength and composure, demonstrating their inner fortitude. Lesson 6. Objections and criticisms. While the Stoic perspective on anger as a weakness offers valuable insights and practical techniques for managing this emotion, it is not without its criticisms and objections. Some common criticisms include emotional suppression. Critics argue that Stoicism may encourage emotional suppression, which can have negative psychological consequences. They contend that not all anger is harmful and that some situations warrant an emotional response. Unrealistic expectations. Critics assert that Stoicism sets unrealistic expectations for human behavior. They argue that it is natural to experience anger in response to certain situations, and that striving for a life completely free of anger may be unattainable. Insensitivity. Some critics suggest that Stoicism's emphasis on rationality and virtue can lead to insensitivity or a lack of empathy. They argue that Stoics may prioritize their own wisdom and virtue at the expense of understanding and supporting the emotional needs of others. Cultural and gender biases. Critics point out that Stoicism, like many ancient philosophies, may carry cultural and gender biases. Some argue that the Stoic ideal may not be equally accessible or applicable to all individuals and circumstances. Stoic perspective on anger as a weakness offers a compelling and unique understanding of this powerful emotion. Stoicism posits that anger is rooted in erroneous judgments, disrupts rational control, and hinders the cultivation of virtue and wisdom. The consequences of anger, both on the individual and society, further underscore its classification as a weakness within this philosophical framework. Stoicism provides practical techniques for managing and transcending anger, empowering individuals to strive for a life characterized by inner peace, wisdom, and virtuous actions. While the Stoic perspective is not without its criticisms, it offers valuable insights into the nature of anger and the pursuit of a flourishing life. In a world where anger often dominates public discourse and personal interactions, Stoicism's teachings continue to offer a timeless and relevant approach to understanding and transcending this complex emotion. By recognizing the inherent weakness of anger and striving to overcome it, individuals can move closer to the Stoic ideal of eudaimonia, a life of wisdom, courage, and inner tranquility.